Your conversations outside if you wish to continue. At this time, I want to remind everyone, we are very grateful to have you here today. Everyone, or let me put it this way, the comments today are limited to 3 minutes apiece as by our standard. So please bear with us as we move along because we have roughly about 30 to 35 that are wishing to speak today. So bear with us. We have an agenda designed so that we can stay focused on what we're discussing here today. But again, this in my 28 years, this is the largest crowd we've had. So we appreciate y'all coming out. But bear with us. Remember, this is a court with legislative and judicial responsibilities, and we ask you to conduct yourself as such. So please, with this, we will ask Brother Chris Harrison, if you would, sir. Oh, one more thing. Please make sure your phones are all silenced. Mr. Chris Harrison, would you lead us in our invocation, please? And Commissioner McCam, the pledges.
Let us pray. God, part of your plan is that we would
brought
be
into
brought into community.
In the relationship with you and in the relationship with one another. And it's in those places where we learn, where we grow, where we find out what it means to love and to serve. You pour so much into our lives, filled with your love and joy. But you don't just pour it into us for us to hoard and keep to ourselves. You ask us to share it with others, and you equip us to do that. And part of that equipping and sending forth is called commissioning. So I thank you. I'm filled with gratitude for the people in this room who have been commissioned. That's not just the people sitting in chairs at the front, each of us, who are asked to go and make our community a better place, to work together to be stronger, not to tear one another down, but to build one another up. Even when we disagree, we find ways to love and serve you and join together to come up with best answers. And so, God, we need you in this room today to do that work with us. Help us to do everything we can to be stronger and glorify you, and help us in all ways to grow in community and in faith. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Brother Harrison, thank you, sir. All right. Well, the time is 9:03. We do have a quorum, so we will call this meeting to order. We do have citizens' comments, as stated earlier, and at this time, we have 4 that have requested to speak related to item number 2 on the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. And at this time, I will call Ashley Cook.
Present.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Cook, if you would, please, again, state your name and your address for the record.
Yes.
And then we will give you the 3 minutes.
Okay,
Thank you very much. My name is Ashley Cook, and my address is 136 XIT Ranch Road, Trinidad, Texas, 75163. Okay, good morning. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I'm here speaking on behalf of the other property owners at Cedar Creek Lake and Henderson County. This is simply not a debate about technology. It's a water issue. It's a property value issue. It is a local control issue. It is a question of whether Henderson County will protect its residents before allowing industrial use
that could permanently change the character. Across Texas, communities are learning about these projects too late. The people who live here, own land here, pay taxes here, operate businesses here, and depend on local water resources deserve answers before decisions. This matters because communities like Cedar Creek Lake are not interchangeable with industrial corridors. People bought property here because of the water, the views, the recreation, the serenity, and the promise that this would remain a lake community, not an industrial utility zone. In many other counties, a home's value may be tied mostly to square footage, schools, or proximity to jobs around Cedar Creek Lake. Value is tied to the lake itself, the water level, the natural setting, the quiet, the wildlife, the ability to sit outside, fish, boat, retire. If those qualities are damaged, the property values are damaged with them. Data centers are not ordinary commercial buildings. They can place extraordinary demands on electricity, water, roads, emergency services, and surrounding landowners. Even when a developer says the first phase is small, the real question is not just what they want on day one. The question is what they intend to become in year 2, year 5, and year 10. We do not have to guess what happens when these projects are placed too close to communities. In Hanbury, residents living near a large Bitcoin mining facility have complained for years about constant noise from cooling fans, sleep disruption, headaches, vibrations, and the destruction of rural peace. Hood County Commissioners seeking legislative action to address noise pollution, destruction of property values, and extreme demand on the Texas grid from cryptocurrency mining. And water problems are not theoretical either. In Georgia, a massive data center project reportedly used approximately 29 million gallons of water over 15 months without authorization before the issue was discovered after residents complained about low water pressure. I can tell you for one, at my house, just on a big weekend at the lake, like water pressure does go down. That is exactly the kind of risk local government before it happens, not after residents are harmed. Cedar Creek Lake should not be the next warning story. That responsibility falls here at the local level. So I understand that, the commissioners, I would ask that you vote in opposition of any data centers or large projects in Henderson County. Please take a firm and public position that no data centers should be incentivized, permitted, or enabled in Henderson County. I'm also asking this court.
Yeah. Time's expired.
Okay, thank you. And I am willing to leave Ashley at cooklawfirm.net. Thank you very much.
Please, this is a courtroom. Thank you. The next individual is a Stephen Terry. Mr. Terry?
Stephen Terry?
Yes, please, Mr. Terry. And as before stated earlier, if you would, restate your name and your address for the record, and then you'll be given the 3 minutes.
Thank you. My address is 217 Lake Drive in Toole, Texas. Ashley Cook has basically spoken all of the things that I. The difference is, in mine, the amount of water that it takes to run these is significant. I had a statistics, but they're running up to 1 million gallons a day. And not only that, but the electricity, infrastructure is there. And the only way to do that is to create their own infrastructure for the electricity. And given the impact that that's going to have on the residents is just not tenable. I think I'll just leave the rest.
Thank you, sir. Again, please. Thank you. The next individual is a Stacy Farmer. Ms. Farmer? Stated earlier, please restate your name and your address for the record, please.
All right, yes. I'm Stacy Farmer, 121 Tampico Lane, Trinidad, Texas. And my husband and I bought property in Henderson County. In 2002, we built a house over 17 years with a lot of friends on weekends, and we're on a cove on Cedar Creek Lake. And my husband and I, we opened up Art House Trinidad just over 3 years ago. We're a glass-blowing studio and art gallery there on Highway 31. And what I wanted to speak to you is about the data center issues that are coming up. If you look at who we are as Henderson County, we are nestled between Cedar Creek, Palestine Lake, and then the Purvis Creek State. While data centers are a present part of the U.S. and Texas life, we appeal to you to do everything within your power and maybe a little beyond to make it undesirable and unfeasible, if not impossible, for data centers to want to be in Henderson County, and certainly not near Cedar Creek Lake. Regarding data centers that have already taken steps to be in Henderson County, because there's one that's trying to be less than a half a mile from where we live and where many of these folks live, we ask that you make it unfeasible for them and make it where they determine they must go elsewhere. We want to foster a response that matches Cedar Creek Lake identity and the Henderson County identity, and that does not include data centers. We value full transparency, which means to us banning agreements and keeping us in the loop. Some of us are just finding out about the proposed data center. We appeal to the residents of Henderson County, our lakes, our longhorn, our cattle, our birds, our wildlife, and our culture. While we welcome technology, we are confident that you know about the sound and light pollution emitted from the data centers that have already been established. We've seen that they're detrimental on environment, and they've had significant detrimental effects to individuals, wildlife, water, energy, and they've caused health problems and increased water and electricity bills for nearby users. We ask that you take any steps to give counties more power in taking a stand to protect the residents and our businesses against data centers. Counties and make it unfeasible through enforcing strict zoning and utility regulations, such as demanding 100%, setting stringent noise and light pollution standards, limiting water usage, repealing tax incentives, charging high infrastructure, and requiring large, lengthy, extensive impact studies on traffic and environment that are costly. I woke up this morning today before the sunrise, and it was dark outside. It was wonderful. There was no light dome from a data center. There was no high frequency or anything going on nearby. So we ask that you make decisions to protect our wildlife and our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I know that everyone wishes support, and we appreciate that. But remember, as I said earlier, this is a court. This is not a city council. This is not a school board meeting. This is a courtroom, so please conduct yourself in such fashion. Thank you. The individual is a Debbie Peterson. Ms. Peterson? And as stated previously, Ms. Peterson, restate your name and your address, please, for the record.
Yes, sir. Hi, my name is Debbie Peterson. I reside on Masthead Road in Gun Barrel City, 75156.
Thank you.
Ben Green, assistant professor in University of Michigan School of Information and Public Policy. The public broadly is quite negative about data centers. Overall, their concerns are quite legitimate. The public is concerned about rising electricity rates caused by data centers. They are concerned about the enormous water use that the data centers require. They're concerned about public handouts in the form of tax breaks that are going to data center developers. And they're also aware that data centers don't bring economic development, especially in the form of jobs. I think that the public is quite right to be concerned about data centers. My research and other research have shown that these are a bad deal for communities. Sorry, I'm not used to talking.
You're fine.
There's no such thing as a closed-loop system. New data centers are being developed that do not require tons of water for cooling, and that is how they are being sold to the public. However, leading experts are now saying that there is no such thing as a true closed-loop system. TAM hygienist testified in front of an Ohio State subcommittee on data cooling technology. Clark says it is still picking up water, and that water in the closed-loop system is actually being contaminated. It is picking up anti-corrosives, anti-scaling agents, and biocides. Then the water gets blown down, meaning that the contaminated water gets blown down into aquifers and rivers. Treatment facilities are not capable of filtering out the corrosives. The water eventually turns to gray sludge and is being dumped back into drinking water. Make sure our planning and zoning boards vote no. And any company that asks for NDAs of our public servants isn't a company to trust, and any public servant that signs an NDA cannot be trusted. Bernice Garcia and Sam Shaw write in the Texas Tribune, counties can decide who gets tax breaks. That in and of itself can stop data centers. Tax abatement negotiations. Counties can impose restriction on county road usage and have permitting authority over on-site sewage facilities such as septic systems. The county does this. We expect you to use them to protect our ability to have water for decades. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, please, ladies and gentlemen, please, I have given a couple of warnings. If we continue, we'll have the sheriff have conversations with you. All right, item number 1. Considering, there are no court announcements to make at this time, so now we will move to item 1, which is consider and take action on minutes of previously held meeting of Commissioners Court on May the 5th, 2026. Court, are there any additions, deletions, or comments to the minutes? Other than it was a short meeting?
Hearing none, Judge, I move we approve the regular session of Commissioners Court, May 5th, 2026, as presented.
I'll second his motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley and second by Commissioner Spivey to approve the minutes of May 5th, 2026 as presented. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Now we will move to item 2, which is consider and take action on resolution regarding the establishment of additional data centers in the state of Texas. And at this time, we have quite a few more that have signed up to speak. And the first one is and please forgive me, is it a Michelle Hoyitz? I'm sorry?
Close enough, Hogarth.
Okay, if you would, please come forward. And again, as has been stated in the public comments portion, state your name and address, and then we'll give you 3 minutes.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Michelle at 110 Avery Lane, Trinidad, Texas. I wanted to thank Wendy for posting about this yesterday and explaining a little more, because it's very scary to hear that a data snuck in a half mile from your house. We moved here, and most people live here because they love the way it is here. They love that we have hunting, we have fishing, we have gorgeous wildlife, we live on a clean aqueduct of water. This is not just any water, it is actually a water source. And we can see I put out things and sent you guys emails, each of you, which has sources of the damage that is happening to other communities. It's happening by noise pollution, light pollution, water issues that they're having, as well as electric brownouts and electric increased costs for their electric bills, which I think none of us would want or agree to. The electric infrastructure, people were in Washington to get the government to force the data centers to talk to them and to work with them, because they're not, and we do not have the infrastructure to support these data centers. So I would ask the commissioners, at the minimum, to pass a land use resolution banning data centers from Henderson County. If you're serious about blocking data centers, I would ask that you would pass this resolution banning them from Henderson County. And at that point, the court system could decide if that was overreach or not. But that would give the community time to rally. Most of us only learned about this on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this is an enormous issue. It affects almost every aspect of our lives as homeowners near these data centers. So that would be my ask of you, that you would pass that resolution banning them from our county, and then let the courts, you would have time to go to the state and ask for more privileges as far as limiting what can be done in your county, and what big data can do, what battery farms can do, and requiring all the research that you can to protect us. So I ask that you protect us by passing a resolution to ban data centers in this county. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next individual that has signed up to speak is a Ms. Vera Bennett. Ms. Bennett? And I know where I sound like a broken record, but please, Ms. Bennett, if you would, restate your name and address for the record, please.
I will. Thank you, Judge and Commissioners Court, for hearing everyone here today. We really appreciate that. My name is Vera Bennett. I live at 1933 Island Circle in the city of Toole. I'm the mayor there. However, these comments that I make today are my own and do not reflect the city's position on anything. All I want to talk about, so I don't forget it, the resolution that was presented to us today. On section 1 on page 2 of 3, where it says, however, the court formally expressed opposition to the use of open-loop evaporative coolers, evaporative cooling systems or other high-volume portable water consumption technologies in large-scale, high continuous load data centers facilities. Put a period there. I would request that, because it goes on to say within water-constrained regions, absent demonstrated sustainable supply and mitigation safeguards. That leaves it back to if TRWD says we can supply water, then it lends us to believe that the county's okay with that. So I want you to consider that. Another thing that I want to talk about is transparency. So I'm highly against the non-disclosure agreements, tax abatements. First of all, government should never operate. The citizens of this county deserve openness, honesty, and a seat at the table when decisions are made. NDA agreements between local government and private developers create distrust immediately. When the partial agreement, people naturally wonder what is being hidden, who benefits, and why are the taxpayers the last to know. If an NDA agreement has already been signed with this Commissioner's Court, just state the fact and let us know that that's occurred. Furthermore, in respect to the resolution, I tried numerous times to get a copy of this resolution before here and come up against some roadblocks, none of which are contained in the Public Information Act. I encourage this court with major things like this to put it on your website. The reason I got was volume. If it's volume, put it on the website so everybody can see the resolution ahead of time. I respectfully ask the court to do that. As far as the opposition to the data centers,
Ms. Bennett,
yes.
Your time's expired.
Already?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The next, ma'am, please, remind you it's courtroom. The next individual is a John Stevens. Mr. Stevens? I will call again for a John Stevens.
John Stevens.
All right, then. We will move on to the next one, which is a Greg Callow. a Greg Callow. I will, let me do this. Was presented to the court here in the online submission. I will read this into the record. John Stevens at Snyder Ranch Road, Trinidad, Texas, has stated in general he is against building data centers in or around Trinidad, Texas, in Henderson County, specifically in the around Highway 274 and Key Ranch Road. Large-scale data centers require massive amounts of water for evaporative cooling systems. Their 24/7 operations and high resource demands can significantly alter the character of a waterfront community. There will be considerably more noise pollution to keep thousands of servers from overheating. These facilities use massive HVAC units and high-velocity fans that run 24/7. This creates a constant, low-frequency hum that can carry across water and penetrate home walls, disrupting the quiet lake life at night. This was the sole purpose for purchasing at Cedar Creek Reservoir. Those were the comments submitted by John Stevens. One more time, is there Greg Callow? I'm sorry, not here. Okay, I will read. It says 140 Oakdale Road, I'm assuming in the Trinidad area, and his general statement is he is against. I will move now to the next one, which is a Tom Luke. Mr. Luke, there you are. And Mr. Luke, as I said, please state your name and your address for the record, please.
Tom Luke, 140 XIT Ranch Road, Trinidad, Texas, 75163.
Thank you.
And Ashley did a very good job of summarizing, I guess, my position, but just a few other things. And general information is, I'm a mechanical engineer by trade and training. I worked in the design, construction, and operation of nuclear power plants all over the world. So I know what it takes to generate power, and I know what it takes to generate cooling. And there's many ways to provide cooling, but in this particular case, you've either going to use water for evaporative cooling, or you have to use fans that blow a lot of air if you're just trying to cool Freon, and either one is going to create a problem. My biggest issue that I want the court to consider is the fact that these plants shouldn't be built close to residential areas, period. And frankly, I would just be happy if they didn't build anything in Henderson County altogether, or in Precinct 1 of Henderson County specifically. But it's really going to be a disaster for the residents that would be close to one of these data centers. We're taking what's now a very quiet and natural pasture land for cattle that graze, and you're going to turn it into a commercial industrial area. And we didn't come here for commercial industrial areas. And by the way, I am a full-time resident here. I'm not just a weekender that lives in Dallas somewhere or somewhere else that comes for the weekend. So I'm here all the time. And I've read your resolution, and I understand what you're trying to do, but I don't think it's strong enough. And I think the court ought to consider whatever your limited actions and capabilities are, that you can make it absolutely difficult for anybody to come in here and build a data center or not want to come here by economic choice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next individual that has requested is a Lonnie Rice. Please come forward, sir. And again, please state your name and your address for the record, please, sir.
I'm Lonnie Rice, 100 Cove Crossing, Trinidad, Texas, in the small, quiet, very quiet neighborhood at Rouge Springs. okay? We border Key Ranch, okay? This proposed facility is approximately 500 yards from my front porch, okay? Yeah. We moved down here in, 6 years ago, bought this place on the water for tranquility. I mean, I'm full-time now down here as of a few months ago. We love it down here. All I'm asking is, I don't imagine too many of you are wanting the data center that's in this room. Am I right? Okay. All I can say is do your job. No data centers.
Thank you, sir. We'll now move to the next individual that is requested, which is a Casey Watson. Ms. Watson? Again, as I said, name and address, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. My name is Casey Watson. I'm at 616 Maloma Road in Toole, Texas. Good morning to the court, commissioners, and my fellow residents. I want to thank the court for considering this resolution. It acknowledges what many rural Texans already understand, that counties like ours need real authority and transparency when large-scale industrial projects are proposed. Decisions made now will shape the future of Henderson County for generations. I'm speaking today in opposition to large-scale data center developments and similar high-impact projects. These facilities consume enormous amounts of electricity and water while offering very little in lasting return. Few permanent jobs, limited local investment, and heavy demands on public infrastructure. What they take most is what we can least afford to lose, our water. Every gallon diverted to cool servers is a gallon that can't sustain livestock, irrigate crops, or serve our homes. This isn't just about economics, it's about stewardship. Cedar Creek Lake is one of our most vital regional water sources for people, for agriculture, and for wildlife. Large-scale withdrawals and increased industrial runoff threaten the lake's long-term health. Sedimentation, thermal pollution, and chemical discharge risks can degrade water quality. These impacts ripple outward to our wetlands, to the Trinity River Basin, and to the wildlife that depends on them. Once that balance is disturbed, recovery takes decades, if at all. Henderson County's strengths have always come from the land, from ranchers, farmers, and the family businesses that support them. These are generational livelihoods, not just transient industries. When we give away our limited water and energy capacity, we jeopardize the very foundation of that heritage. Too often, these projects also come bundled with tax abatements and incentives that shift the cost onto local taxpayers. Our citizens shouldn't have to subsidize the depletion of their own resources. That's not progress, that's poor stewardship. We have to ask who benefits and who bears the burden. What happens when agriculture and residents must compete with large industrial scale consumption during the next drought? What happens to the lake, the creeks, and the wildlife corridors that make this place livable and rooted? Our founders believed that the strength of a nation came from communities that could sustain themselves, not ones dependent on outside interests that can leave when conditions change. The question before us is whether this type of development is loyal to our community, to our natural resources, and to those who call this home for the long haul.
Ms. Watson, your time's expired.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next individual is a Tyson Gray. Is there a Tyson Gray? There he is. All right, again, Mr. Gray, your name and your address, please, and then we'll give you the 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is Tyson Gray. I live at 219 Beechwood Loop in Trinidad, Texas. I'm in Beechwood Estates. Good morning, commissioners. I'm a resident here out in Henderson County. First thing I want to do is thank the court for having this conversation with us before irreversible decisions are made. Many rural communities across Texas don't get the opportunity until major projects are already approved and infrastructure is overwhelmed. I want to be clear, I am not anti-technology or anti-growth. This is about responsible growth, transparency, and protecting the people that live here. Henderson County is rural, wooded, agricultural, lake-centered, and community-driven. People moved here because it is quiet, because it's natural, and once industrial-scale development changes that character, there is no going backwards. Large-scale data centers bring impacts far beyond single buildings. These facilities consume enormous amounts of electricity and water and create constant industrial noise for 24-hour cooling systems, increase heavy truck traffic, and place strain on our roads, emergency services, drainage, and power infrastructure. We also live around an important lake ecosystem that supports wildlife many of us value deeply. Every winter, bald eagles return to Cedar Creek Lake and surrounding areas. Whether it is wildlife habitats, wetlands, drainage systems, or the water quality, these issues deserve careful environmental review before projects of this scale are allowed to move forward. Perhaps, and most importantly, counties currently have a very limited authority to meaningfully protect our residents and unincorporated areas, and this is my major concern. Communities should not have to wait until our roads are damaged, our wells are drained, our natural habitats disappear before we start asking questions. If a project of this scale is considered, I believe the residents deserve no NDAs, independent water study grid impact analysis, noise and light pollution studies, traffic planning environmental assessments, and full public transparency before any decisions are made with rural Texans. And we should not have fewer protections simply because we are living outside of city limits. The people who live here are not obstacles for your development. We are stakeholders. This is our home, our land, our water, and our future. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. The next individual is a Valerie Delana. Ms. Delana? Okay. Ms. Delana is a resident at 8417 FM 59, I'm assuming in the Trinidad area. And her statements are she's against any additional data centers. All right. Now we will move to a Michael Fladmark. Mr. Fladmark? Again, Mr. Fladmark, state your name and address, please.
I'm Michael Fladmark. I live at 600 Winding Shore Drive, Toole, Texas, 20-year resident. I'm also here representing the Henderson County Democratic Party as the county chair. So first, I thank you, Court, for having this conversation today, for the citizens to have their voice heard. Personally, I'm against the data center being on our part of Henderson County. However, there are 13 other counties, rural counties, that have also had resolutions that they've issued with the same similar items listed as that you have as far as controlling and regulating the growth and development in the county. I can't say anything more and better than what the previous speakers have, or those that are going to follow me in regards to their data, their passion. I think data centers are an issue and a problem. There are other data centers going in around the state where the citizens are in opposition to them being in, and they're requesting their county commissioners to do similar to what you're doing today. So I would like to just to do your job, what you're elected for, which is to protect the welfare of the citizens, the environment, and the infrastructure for Henderson County. So if you'll indulge me, I would like to read, this is a nonpartisan issue, really. But the thing is that both parties have issued resolutions in regards to data centers. And so I would like, and they're very similar, and I would like the court to indulge me to let me read the last four items of our Democratic Party, a resolution in regards to data centers. Whereas the state of Texas needs to immediately address the siting and regulation of such facilities to manage the cumulative impacts of data centers on local infrastructure, quality of life, and community health, including the mitigation of nuisances such as noise, resource depletion, and the pollution of air and water, as other states have done. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Texas Democratic Party supports policies that provide the responsible development, siting, and use of natural resources for data center development in a sustainable and responsible manner. Be it further resolved that the party also supports state legislation that enables local municipalities, counties, and appropriate governing entities to engage in meaningful and binding land use, energy, and water policy decisions regarding these technological facilities. Be it further resolved that the Texas Democratic Party also supports a temporary statewide pause or moratorium on further data center development until such policies are created and acted upon by state legislature. Thank you very much for your time.
The next individual that is requested to speak is a Frank Wall. Mr. Wall? Mr. Wall, as I have stated numerous times, please your name and address, and we'll give you the 3 minutes.
Front 236 Matador Ranch Road, Trinidad, Texas. For hearing us out today. I spent all of my career in the planning and construction of buildings, including about 15 years in the building department of Verizon, working on their data center facilities. We hear a lot about the projected floor space needs for data centers, but nothing about how much of the current floor space is actually being used. At Verizon, we found that each successive generation of equipment was smaller and could do more than the one before it. Computers used to take up a building the size of the one we're in. And today, I hold that much computing power in my hand. A few blocks east of here, switching building. I've never been in that building, but I can guarantee you they're only using a fraction of it. I've heard that there are about 44 or so major data centers in Texas today. Many of them completely full. Considering the demands that these buildings place on power and water supplies and the environmental impacts, I think it's only how much of the current data center floor space is actually in use and how future generations of equipment will need less space before we jump into something like building new ones. Folks, I lived through the dot-com boom and bust 30 years ago. I was working in that building. I can tell you, this sounds an awful lot like that all over again. So we ask you to approve the resolution before the court today. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. The next individual is a Juliet Hills. Ms. Hills, please, name, address, please. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Juliet Hills. I'm a resident of Trinidad at 326 Hickory Circle, full-time resident. I'm here for 2 reasons: to strongly support the on data center regulations and to request immediate action on project happening in our community right now that shows why this resolution is urgent. Here are the facts. Survey crews are out on Key Ranch Road, currently marking the road with over a mile of markings. Seems to indicate water coming in and out. This appears to be for Wild Paw Energy Center, which is a 64-acre battery storage facility in the ERCOT queue. The real developer is Diode Ventures, a company specializing in data center development for companies like Meta and Google. About a year ago, Diode approached Commissioner Spivey about this project, discussing water and electrical needs. The commissioner explicitly opposed data centers and promised town hall meetings if they moved forward. They went silent for a year. Now the survey work is happening. The critical question is this battery storage or phase 1 for the data center? I think we know the answer to that. This situation shows exactly why your resolution is needed. But while we wait for the state action, this project is moving forward now. Henderson County has tools available today that I'm asking you to use. One is to require a public information meeting before any TRZ, tax reinvestment known applications, are filed. Don't let Diode, Wild Paw, or proceed in secret any longer. Honor Commissioner Spivey's promise of town hall meetings. She told Diode she'd organize community input if they moved forward. Survey work. It's time for that meeting. Demand full disclosure of corporate structure and long-term plans. Is Wild Paw owned by Diode? Are the data centers planned? We deserve answers before any county approvals. Apply the strongest conditions possible to any TRZ agreements. This 64-acre facility is 5 times larger than Tanzanite, which I understand is around here as well. It demands unprecedented protections, setbacks, noise limits, decommissioning bonds, and safety requirements. Do not approve any TRZ or permits until residents have had adequate notice and meaningful opportunity. Please pass this resolution. Include the Wild Paw Diode situation as a specific example of why counties need more regulatory authority. Our state legislature, and this isn't theoretical, it's happening now. 2 parallel tracks are needed. Long-term, your resolution gives counties regulatory tools through state legislation, and short-term, use every tool the county has now to protect residents from this project. Okay. Commissioner Spivey's resolution arms her with what she needs for the future. I and many neighbors here today are ready to participate in the town hall meetings that you promised. We ask that you schedule it before any applications are considered. Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. The next individual is a Deborah Thomas. Ms. Thomas, if you would, please come.
May I yield my time to Mayor Bennett?
Ms. Bennett has already been given her time to speak. At this time, you are being called if you would like to, ma'am. And again, state your name and
Thank you.
address,
Deborah
please.
Thomas, 106 Bay Court, Trinidad, Texas, 75163. This is to finish Ms. Bennett's presentation or discussion. We request that the county not offer tax abatements. Why should billion-dollar corporations receive special treatments? Every dollar abated is a dollar that shifts the burden somewhere else, often into ordinary taxpayers. Please reject NDA arguments. Oppose unnecessary tax abatements. Citizens before corporations. We ask for honesty. Keep pushing for county zoning on a limited basis. Involve mayors surrounding the proposed site. It involves us all. Urge citizens to go to TRWD. They have control of the water. Thank you, Court.
Thank you, ma'am. We have time for one more. The next name, Linda Venable. Venable? The address is 515 East Willwhite Road, and I will read her comments into the record. I am against massive data centers in our area. The people of Granbury, Texas are currently suing the company that built the data center in their town. Some that live close have been extremely ill due to loud noise. In addition, not only have the values of the center fallen dramatically, but those that want to sell cannot find buyers. The water rates in Granbury have risen dramatically for residents as well as electric rates. Meanwhile, the Bitcoin data center has special negotiated rates that no consumers will ever obtain. And during times of drought, the data center is immune from water restrictions placed on local residents. In addition, Texas is giving data centers massive tax breaks, and she cites a Texas Tribune article, Texas data center sales tax break $1 billion, that make it worthless to have one of these in our county. And once the data center is finished, we will be lucky if, like other data centers in Texas, they only provide 9 or 10 future full-time jobs. They're not worth the literal headaches that many in Granbury and others are experiencing. In our rules of decorum, 30 minutes of discussion is given to each line item. We still have several to go for. In these rules, it gives the court an opportunity to extend time, and at this time, court, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more. And per our rules of decorum, I will call for a motion to extend time from the court.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Spivey. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, we will continue along with item 2 to remind everyone, which is the resolution regarding establishment of additional data centers in the state of Texas. The next individual to speak is a Mark Wilson or a Penny Wilson here. Mark or a Penny Wilson. The address is 204 Brentwood Estates Drive, and I'm assuming that is in the area. The comments that they have submitted to us are, we are divided and more interested in what the proposals are in greater detail. Presently, it is not possible for us to make an informed decision on, for, or against. We see pros and cons and want more understanding. That was the comments from Mark and Penny Wilson. The next individual is a Leanne Embry. Ms. Embry? Ms. Embry, as I've stated with all of them, state your name and your address, please, ma'am, and we'll give you the 3 minutes.
Hi, my name's Leanne Embry. My address is 6978 County Road 4712 Warrior. I wanted to first begin by saying thank you for creating a resolution. I feel like it's definitely a first step in addressing the data centers. And I haven't read over it yet, so I don't know exactly what's in there, but I appreciate that effort. I definitely feel like we need a second step, and we need a second step pretty quickly. I have a non-exhaustive list of projects right here. It's 1,100 megawatts of different facilities that are looking to come into Henderson County, and these are current projects. There was a Tarrant Regional Water FOIA done that showed that the data center that is currently trying to build in near Cedar Creek Lake requested $2,533,973,774 gallons of raw water a year. We don't have time to wait for the legislature. They're going to meet again January 2027. By that time, a lot of these developments will be well underway. So what I am asking is that you guys would pass a moratorium like Van Zandt County did. They're a Texas county, so they're under the same laws as you all are, and they've been very successful in that. We need to make sure that the companies that are coming are compliant with the Lone Star Infrastructure Protection Act, and we need to protect our county before we're covered up and our way of life is forever changed. Thank you.
Thank you. The next individual that is requested to speak is a Molly Pittman. Molly Pittman?
I can do that.
And Ms. Pittman, if you would, please, your
My name
and
is Molly
address.
Pittman. I live at 206 Northview, Trinidad, Texas. I'm exactly one and two houses from where they're going to build. 1 block and 2 houses. That's close. The thing that concerns me the most is the amount of water that is going to be consumed and the sewerage. Our sewerage now couldn't even handle what we got. The third thing is the expense on seniors. I am a senior. I'm 83 years of work. So does that kind of tell you what Cedar Creek is made of? Oh, it's not represented with a lot of seniors, but a few. But I don't think we can handle the expense that may be thrown to us with taxes and high water bills and high property bills. I just don't think we can handle it. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pittman. The next individual is a Win Sloboda. Win Sloboda. The address is 5964 High Point Court. And I will read his comments into the record. against advancing development due to site's inability to comply with the National Fire Protection Safety Standards. Also due to current litigation by the State Attorney General's State Attorney General.
It's hard to hear out here.
Oh.
There's like fans.
Okay, if please come forward, sir. If you would, sir, please state your name and your address for the record, and then you'll have your 3 minutes.
My name is Win Sloboda, and I'm at 5964 High Point Court, Athens, Texas. And I'm here because I'm opposed to the tech development that's coming out. Basically, we're hearing about it exploding. And so some of the points that I want to make now are basically what I've tried to learn as quickly as I could. But for people that are aware or not aware, the county just passed a moratorium on data centers, or well, battery storage systems particularly. But they did it because of the failure to comply of the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Agency. They can't comply to the safety standards for the country or the state. So they're standing on that, but they're also standing with the Attorney General, who has litigation against Chinese equipment manufacturers because of security threats and just unreliable built-in connections with this party. Along with that, the federal government in the Defense Department has also issued warnings about the same thing with Chinese equipment. So what we're seeing is with these types of installations, there's a lot of Chinese equipment, and nobody really, people are just starting to find out what it can do by being accessed remotely, which is really a security threat for anybody that's using it. So, and it shouldn't be part of the infrastructure. The next thing is, anyway, on the battery storage systems, they seem to be wildly popular. And really, if you look into it, they don't do anything except charge up and decharge. So they're just kind of putting a buffer or a Band-Aid on the grid. So what you have here is you've got a system that's basically not generating any power, but just using it like a parasite, buying it low and selling it at a higher rate, which brings us to another issue.
I'm sorry, sir, your time's expired. Your 3 minutes are up.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next individual is a Lisa Scintilla. Did I pronounce that correctly? Lisa Scintilla? Okay. Ms. Scintilla is at 5525 North Moore Drive. Does not give the town, I'm assuming Trinidad or Tool. And just simply states against. So we will move to the next one, which, okay, this one just has the name of William. Oh, okay, there we go. Please come forward, ma'am. If you would, sorry. Ms. Scintilla, if you would, please restate your name and address for the record, please.
Lisa Santala. I represent my mother, Doris Gibbons. She's 96 at 138 XIT Ranch Road Trinidad. Sorry I ran.
That's okay.
I echo many of the opinions that have already been stated. I think the comment about stewardship of the environment resonated most with me. Data center development near, 2 blocks from XIT Ranch Road is upsetting in the extreme. What concerns me particularly is the light dome that is often present, the noise. The noise just horrifies me, and water use, because I'm a Dallas County Master Gardener. Much of what we teach the public in conjunction with Texas A&M AgriLife is the use of water and planting water-wise plants, using drip irrigation, and we do so much. We try to do so much as homeowners. I recycle, I reuse, I use reusable bags. Those are drops in the bucket compared to the resource use for this type of equipment. So I would urge the court to please put a moratorium on data center development in Henderson County until more is known and until the technology mitigate these risks to health, wildlife, and not to mention our comfort as landowners. My aunt is a permanent resident at Lakewood. She bought property on the lake before it was even built. So my family has been coming to Cedar Creek Lake for most of my since my childhood, and it is dearly loved, and I hope we can preserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Again, we have an incomplete submission with just a first name of William, and that individual lives at 124 XIT Road and says completely against, and then some other unkind language. So, we will move to the next one, which is a Troy Rice. This was submitted this morning. Mr. Rice? Okay. The next individual is a Pat Williams. Ms. Williams, as we've stated previously, please restate your name and your address for the record, please.
Pat Williams, 5947 County Road 3925 in Athens. All my notes I had taken and were ready to talk about they've all been talked about, I guess, ad nauseum, but that's okay because it needs to be said over and over again. But I will not be talking about those things. I just want to talk about the fact that I moved here in 2018 from the Dallas area where I had grown up and lived all my life. I came for, I wanted to retire with a view. I wanted to have a small town quality of life, and I found it here for sure. And I was attracted to Athens. It was at that point it was a designated retirement city and all of that. And so I came here with a lot of expectations, and Athens has met that. This seems so detrimental to that, and it seems like it is going to just takes the quality of life away from so many folks and wildlife and the environment and all of that. But what I want, I'm not a scientist or anything of that kind, so I can only tell you that I spent my life in the service of trying to improve children's quality of life, and we are in the, I'm not sure how many are aware that we are in the process of trying to get downtown Athens to be a cultural arts district. actually get that certification by the state. We are trying to do things that are going to improve. We have theaters, we have music, we have all of the things. We have a college. We have things that are inviting to people like me to come here to live as retirees. And it just seems so counterintuitive to then add something like this on to that. I feel like we're putting in all this time and energy trying to make the square in Athens a inviting place for tourism. People bring dollars into the town. We understand, everybody understands, we want the economy around here to thrive. But there are just, some things just seem very counterintuitive to those things that we're trying to accomplish in the area of just quality of life issues. All of the engineering and scientific aspects to these data centers have already been covered very clearly here. I'm not going to try to talk about the things that I've discovered in my researches, and that's the problem. I will say that the one thing that that affected me personally was when I started researching these data centers, I was immediately, the first thing that was the smaller communities and the rural communities is because they think there's going to be less oversight. They think there's going to be, it's going to be easy to plan in secret.
Ms. Williams.
So,
the next individual is a Margaret Mizell. Did I pronounce that correctly? Yes.
But do not point in and sit back and get on at the top. He also has Alzheimer's.
Yes, ma'am. Please state your name and address, please, ma'am.
Margaret,
my name is Margaret
Margaret
Boatwright myself. And you know that there's a Boatwright Road
that's exactly right outside of Trinidad, and you turn to the left on 274, and that is all our land. No, it's not all our land.
All our land, but most of it is our land.
Our land, and through 400s. We lived down there. We've stewarded that land. We came through when Cedar Creek Lake came in. We also were under easement from the Fort Worth Water District. And I wonder how that would be affected, because that water washes right up on us. We have easement land there, and there's a lot of land there. We do a join at the bottom. We are on the river to where John Key's land was, and Mary Helen Covey. And
so we've been invested in this area our entire life. And I'd like to thank Mr. Svoboda for telling me exactly what a data center is worth. What do they do?
What do they do?
They do nothing but destroy our way of life. Who cares if the millionaires get richer? Who cares if the people in China
I care if the people in China send things that can hurt us here.
They do nothing good. They don't bring jobs to us.
They don't bring people to help us build up our artistic community. The seniors have a place to live here at Cedar Creek Lake in Athens and Henderson County because the price of living is affordable. You're the stewards. You're the stewards of our land and our lives and our husbands and wives that sometimes can't help themselves. You are our last resource. So thank you. I'm not going to use it because he has to go really bad. So thank you so much. I know that you'll do the right thing. I've lived in Henderson County my entire life. My whole family has lived here, and you've always done right by us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Boatwright. All right, and the last individual that, well, I believe we've already had, they may have filled out too. Do we already have a Molly Pittman? We did, okay. Submitted one online and here. Well, that concludes the individuals that have submitted forms to speak on item number 2, of which the time that we are considering it. So I will restate again, just to kind of bring back into focus, this item is to consider and take action on resolution regarding the establishment of data centers in the state of Texas. And Commissioner Spivey, this is highly impactful to your area and your involvement in bringing this action forward, so I will give you the floor.
Okay, thank you, and I really appreciate everyone coming here today and speaking and being here. And I was going to get our county attorney to read it for us before we go on and speak more about it, if he would. Just Kenneth Strawn, our county attorney.
Good morning, Court. Kenneth Strawn, County Attorney. May it please the Court, I'd like to read the resolution before the Court that has been presented by Commissioner Spivey. And I'll just read it. It's going to take me a minute. A resolution of the Henderson County Commissioners Court regarding the establishment of additional data centers in the state of Texas. Whereas the pace of data center construction has exponentially increased across the United States and within the state of Texas, driven by increasing demand for digital infrastructure, data aggregation, artificial cryptocurrency mining and related transaction settlement processes, and cloud computing services. And whereas data centers constitute critical infrastructure underpinning modern commerce, healthcare, education, communications, financial systems, artificial intelligence development, cloud computing, cybersecurity operations, and national defense capabilities. And whereas the continued development of advanced data infrastructure is an essential component of Texas's and the United economic competitiveness, national security posture, and an increasingly global technological competition. And the state of Texas has emerged as a national leader in attracting data center investment due to its business-friendly climate and energy resources. And whereas responsible long-term planning is necessary to ensure that critical infrastructure growth occurs in a manner that protects grid reliability, water sustainability, fiscal integrity, and the health, safety, and quality of life of existing residents. And whereas local concerns have emerged across Texas regarding the potential adverse impacts of large-scale data center developments on surrounding communities, the environment, public health, consumer utility cost, land use compatibility, and the strain on local infrastructure and resources. And whereas large-scale data may require substantial land conversion, including the clearing or repurposing of agricultural lands, rangelands, and open spaces that support local food production, rural economies, wildlife habitats, and natural drainage patterns. And without appropriate siting, mitigation, and conservation planning, such development could result in fragmentation of habitat, loss of prime farmland, increased stormwater runoff, and long-term impacts to native species and ecological systems. And whereas the state of Texas's electrical grid, managed by the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, also known as ERCOT, is experiencing rapidly increasing demand for electricity, and whereas major technology companies developing large-scale data centers should assume the responsibility for supplying their own power needs, including by constructing dedicated generation facilities, in order to protect residential and small business ratepayers from increased electricity costs, preserve electric grid reliability. And whereas indicate that without expanded generation capacity, transmission infrastructure, and reliability safeguards, Texas could face substantial shortfalls in electricity generation and grid reliability over the coming decade. increasing the risk of service interruptions and higher energy costs for residential, agriculture, and commercial consumers. And whereas rapid increases in large continuous load electricity demand, attributed scale, and similar data center facilities raise important reliability planning considerations, particularly during peak summer demand and extreme weather events. And whereas Texas faces recurring drought conditions and ongoing water supply challenges in many regions of the state, impacting municipal, agricultural, and industrial water users. And whereas certain data center cooling technologies, including open-loop evaporative systems, may require substantial volumes of potable water, and cumulative regional demand associated with multiple facilities could materially affect local water availability, particularly in drought-prone areas. And whereas current state-level regulatory frameworks provide limited uniform requirements for transparent reporting of projected electricity demand and water consumption associated with proposed data center facilities. And whereas counties bear primary financial responsibility for the maintenance and repair of county roads, drainage systems, and certain emergency response infrastructure, yet possess limited statutory authority to require proportionate cost participation from certain large-scale developments impacting such infrastructure. And whereas counties have limited statutory authority over electric generation regulation and grid oversight, yet bear responsibility for protecting the public health, safety, infrastructure, integrity, and natural resources within their jurisdiction. And whereas under current Texas law, counties do not possess general zoning authority and are not granted broad land use regulatory powers comparable to those of municipalities, thereby limiting the ability of counties to regulate the location, density, and operational characteristics of large-scale developments, such as data centers within unincorporated areas. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Henderson County Commissioners Court, that Section 1, position of the court, the Henderson County Commissioners Court supports responsible economic development, including appropriately designed and sited data center facilities. However, the court formally expresses opposition to the use of open-loop evaporative cooling systems or other high-volume potable water consumption technologies in large scale, high continuous load data center facilities within water-constrained regions, absent demonstrated sustainable supply and mitigation safeguards. The court further opposes any data center development that fails to incorporate adequate safeguards to protect county resources and residents. The court further states that support for additional data center development in the state of Texas should be conditioned upon the implementation of comprehensive, enforceable safeguards to protect the electric grid reliability and prevent cost burdens on residential, agricultural, and small business ratepayers, ensure responsible, sustainable, and transparent water use practices, protect agricultural lands, rangelands, wildlife habitats, and natural drainage systems by requiring careful site selection, avoidance of prime farmland, and ecologically sensitive areas where practical, and appropriate mitigation of habitat fragmentation and stormwater impacts. Prevent degradation of county roads, drainage systems, and other public infrastructure, and safeguard community welfare, public health, and environmental quality. Section 2, transparency and reporting. The court urges the state of Texas and relevant regulatory agencies to require full and transparent public reporting of anticipated electricity demand, water usage, and infrastructure impacts for all proposed data center developments prior to final approval. Section 3, independent impact analysis. No future data center project should proceed without a rigorous independent assessment of impacts on ERCOT grid reliability and transmission capacity, impacts on regional water availability and drought contingency planning, impacts on agricultural lands, rangelands, wildlife habitats, natural drainage patterns, habitat fragmentation, including effects on prime farmland, soil integrity and stormwater runoff, long-term infrastructure costs borne by taxpayers, and effects on surrounding residential, agricultural, and commercial land uses. Section 4, Resource Sustainability Standards. The court encourages adoption of statewide planning and regulatory standards prioritizing sustainability, including integration of water-efficient or closed-loop cooling technologies, utilization of reclaimed, recycled, or non-potable water sources where feasible, and demand response participation and load management requirements to protect grid stability. Section 5, Legislative Action Requested. The Henderson County Commissioners Court respectfully request that the Governor and Texas Legislature, 1, consider if circumstances warrant timely action of this issue on the call of a special session of the Texas Legislature to address urgent reliability, water supply, and local governance concerns, and 2, enact legislation providing counties and municipalities meaningful participation and authority in land use, infrastructure planning, and resource impact review related to large-scale data center developments. Section 6, distribution. Copies of this resolution shall be transmitted to our Governor, Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, the State Senator Majority Leader Tan Parker, Texas State Senator District 3 Robert Nichols, State Rep District 4 Keith Bell, State Rep District 8 Cody Harris, State Rep District 9, and Senate candidate for District 3 Trent Ashby, the Public Utility Commission of Texas, the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, the Texas Development Board, and appropriate regional and local governmental bodies. Section 7, effective date. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. Approved, adopted, and signed on this blank day of blank 20 blank, signed by the court.
Thank you, Mr. Strong. Commissioner Spivey?
Yes, Court, I'd like to say again, thank you to everyone that showed up today, that's watching online, that spoke, that has the heart of a home like I do. I'm a 6th generation here in Henderson County, landowner and rancher. This is not a vote approving or denying any specific project today. It's just a statement that economic development and protecting our community should go hand in hand. I would like to say I have not signed an NDA and I do not plan on to sign one. I told this company from the get-go that this was a bad idea. I'm not for it. I'm staying with you guys. The long story short of this resolution is to let our state representatives and governor know that the county should not be powerless observers. We should have meaningful involvement, transparency, and reasonable safeguards in place to help protect the people we represent and the communities we serve. And that's all of you. And I'll let anybody else speak that wants to.
Court? Comments? Discussion?
I'd like to thank everybody for showing up today. This is a great crowd. We know we all got concerns. I think all of us on this court have the same concerns that everybody in this room have. We live here too. Y'all elected us because we live in Henderson County also. So we have the same concerns that y'all have. But we also know what our limits are and what we can do. And we want to send this to the state legislature and ask them to give us more control over these entities coming into our counties. We have very little control. You can blame us and talk about we're lining our pockets and everything else, but we have very little control over these private property rights. Because when you start talking about private property rights in Texas, you're muddling around in some deep water. Because when we talk about somebody else's property rights, we're also talking about your property rights. We want to protect the farmland. I want to protect the farmland. I run cattle around town. At the eastern part of the county also. But if I don't let them put a data center on this property, am I going to be able to develop that farmland? Where are all the houses in this county at? Where are all the developments? They're on prime farm property that were taken over by development. So we got to be careful. We got to think about this in a term, in a tone that
that makes the county happy and gets us what we need to have and what we want. But we got to be careful. I like the moratorium over in Van Zandt County too. I don't know that it's legal. I don't know that we have a couple $1 million to put in a fund to fight that legal battle. But I know it's not about money, it's about our quality of life too. But these companies have unlimited amount of funds. And I'm not making excuses either, because I'm not for this. But do we have the money to put in a couple $1 million like Sulphur Springs did? Had to put $1.2 million in a fund to fight a lawsuit. I don't know where we're going to come up with 1.2 million, or the 2 million, or the 3 million these guys that's going to cost us. That's why we got to go about that. And I know we don't have time. These deals are coming. Time. We don't have time. But there's a lot of things to think about, and I'm glad everybody came here. I wrote down some stuff that everybody said. We have the same concerns as you have. We're concerned about this just like you are. We have to live in Henderson County. I raised my family. All of these guys raising their family. Our kids go to school here. We do this. We live the same life that y'all live, and we want the same quality that y'all want. I love to walk out in my back. There ain't a street light around me nowhere. I took the one out in my front yard. So we enjoy that too. We know why people move to Henderson County. We know they move here because of the quality of the lake life. We know they move here because of the quality of life, the slowness of life, the enjoyment of going out, riding down around the LaRue area or the Malakoff area and see how much country there's still left in this county. So we have those same concerns. And we're going to do what we can to fight these deals just like y'all, but it's going to take all of us. It's not going to take y'all blaming us. It's going to take y'all helping us. We got to be in this together. I read all on Facebook and all of these other places where they're coming in. Everybody blaming somebody. We can't blame each other. We got to work together. Or we don't have enough power to get it done by ourselves. We don't have that power. The state don't give us that power. The state gives us just enough power to make Henderson County operate smoothly. That's all the power they give us. But if we get together collectively like y'all are right here, we can make a difference. But if we start blaming each other and talk about the commissioners and the councilmen are lying in their pockets, which y'all know as well as I do, that don't happen in these small areas. It might happen in those big metroplexes. But everybody knows everybody in here. Ain't nobody lying in their pockets. We got to work together to get it done. We can't argue and scream at each other. We got to sit down and figure out how we can get something done on this. And we might not be able to stop it, but we're going to make them want to know that we don't want them. And once again, thanks to everybody for showing up today. This is great.
Commissioners?
I would, again, kind of say the same thing that Commissioner McCam said, that thank you for showing up. And I'm going to go back to my old coaching days of what he just said, of coaching Little League football or basketball or whatever, that I told my kids that we got to be a team. And the team stands for together, everybody achieves more. And that's the team that we need to be. We're going to do our job. I can assure you that this court will stand with you. I've already stood with people in Van Zandt County over biosolids, and we got that permit removed. And we're going to do the same thing. Our state legislatures, both of them, Ashby and Bell, are friends of mine, and I'll be calling them this afternoon and saying, the west side has got a problem, and we need your help. I want to tell you that we are a local entity, and the state does not like local control. They've taken stuff away from me. I've only been on the court 8 years. You don't want to hear the history of where he started at, where Judge McKinney started at, and what powers he used to have, or we used to have, to work with local control that we don't have anymore. So those are the things that we're going to try to do. We're going to stand with you arm in arm. But I want to tell you, there's another meeting coming up. I don't know when, and I'm sure that if you talk to Miss Ashley, she will be able to tell you. But West Cedar Creek Mud has a board, and they have board meetings. And this room right here needs to be as packed over there, because they're the ones that are going to control that water that goes in there, because they've already asked. I can say that some people came to my office probably a year ago, probably at about the same time Commissioner Spivey got done, and I thought they were asking for a battery storage plant, or they were going to bring in a battery storage plant. So I had the slightest idea, and until this came up again, and then we figured out it was a data center. So I'm not going to sign no NDA. I hate the word transparency, and the reason why is because Dallas County uses it all the time, and they don't stick by it. But I'm going to tell you, in Precinct 2, no NDAs will be signed. If it comes before the court, it won't be, or I'll be standing against it. So remember, we're a team, and just like Commissioner McCam says, I read Facebook, my friends text me about Facebook and all that, but we can't downgrade one of us up here. It won't turn me against you, because I've been Facebook famous for a while now. So what I'm going to tell you is I'm with you. We'll stand with you. We're standing as a team, arm in arm, and we'll go to bat. Thank y'all for your time, for being here today and taking it out of your jobs.
Commissioner?
Yes, I just want to say, the data center's a problem. I think one of our biggest issues is water. We're all worried about, in the future, we know water is gold right now. And Commissioner McCam and I will be going down on the 21st to the Natchez Trinity River Groundwater District meeting. They'll have one on the 21st about some new rule changes and stuff. So that's one thing we got to worry about. If they don't get their water out of the lake, right now they're able to drill a water well, just like Mr. Bass is wanting to do over in my precinct, Precinct 4. He's wanting to pump 15 billion gallons a year out of the aquifer. And 3 counties together only use that right now in the whole water system every year, all 3 counties. So that's one of the issues that's going to help make this work and stuff, is to get control of this water and stuff, and the water usage and everything. If they don't have the water, they can't build. So.
Okay. Well, Court, thank you. I did want to say one thing, the non-disclosure agreements, and I will pitch that to our county attorney and let him explain how they are not applicable in county government.
So we've advised this court in the past, myself and my predecessor, Clint Davis, when he was county attorney. We've told this court, do not sign NDAs. We think they violate the law, so I'm going to tell you today, NDAs. We believe that they violate the Texas government code, that the Texas Public Information Code, or FOIA, there's different names for it, open records, but we believe that that's counter to public transparency. So don't sign any NDAs.
And from my predecessor that I had, I was always told, tell them to contact the county attorney's office.
You learned something. Well, again, thank you all. Thank you. In closing here, Court,
I would like to say something else. I have reached out to our Representative Cody Harris and our Congressman Lance Gooden, and I don't talk quite as good as they do, but I have a big heart, and I'm just a little shy. So, but I appreciate you all coming, and you are all my people, so I'm here for you. Thank you.
Well, with that, we'll entertain a motion.
At this time, I'd like to move that the Henderson County Commissioners Court approve the resolution regarding large-scale industrial infrastructure development, including data centers, as presented, and to authorize its distribution to the officials, agencies identified within the resolution with all necessary signatures.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey and second by Commissioner Tooley to approve the resolution regarding the establishment of additional data centers in the state of Texas as presented. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, court, you want to take a 10-minute recess? Can we have a motion?
So moved to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Richardson to recess until, 10:45? We're in recess, y'all. 2022 session. I guess let's go ahead and do a motion. Just
So moved.
Motion.
motion by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Tooley to return to open session, or to return from recess at 10:47. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. We are back in session. So now we will move to item 3, which is consider and take action on Henderson County's senior citizens building use policy. And this morning, we have a Ms. Caroline Barnett that has requested to speak. And Ms. Barnett, if you were here earlier, state your name and address, please, ma'am.
Carolyn Barnett, 6593 County Road 4507, Athens. There's a lot of numbers that don't really make a pattern. Anyway, I'm from the Square Dance Club, and we would like to know when can we get back in and start our club dances again. And wondering if anything was done about the floor. I understand it's been approved the way it is. That's what I heard. So is that the case? Can we get back in?
The court does not, this portion right here is for you to speak to the court. The court does not engage during the citizens' comments.
Sorry. Well, that's it. We want to get back in, and actually the Meals on Wheel lady called me, and she wants to get back in also.
Thank you. Again, we're here to consider and take action on the Henderson County Senior Citizens Building Use Policy. And court, you have been provided. I'm going to ask Ms. Strong to come back up with us to discuss the policy. We've got it pretty much put together where, well, I will let Ms. Strong.
Good morning, Court. This is similar to the prior county use of property policy that was passed some years ago, except this is more specific to the senior citizen building that's located adjacent to the Fair Park. And so this one's a little bit more specific for that particular property. It's kind of been singled out. This policy, if adopted today, doesn't override or change any of the other pending policies. So earlier this year, you all signed or adopted a election sign policy. That would still be in place. So they would run at the same time if this is approved. So, and that goes along with other ordinances as well. And this basically addresses a lot of the issues that were discussed in public workshop, namely the scheduling, key access, and insurance. And I believe this addresses all those concerns as discussed in court. And that's going to be in section 2.4 on page 2 is the certificate of insurance requirements. It also has in 2.6 special use based on the applicant itself and kind of the history of this building and why it was implemented, giving Meals on Wheels annual access, and then just looking at that every year. So they would need an application, but their application would be annually versus maybe more short-term users. So some people have short-term use, theirs is going to be the long-term use. And then this proposed ordinance also gives priority to county functions, namely elections. That would take precedent over other scheduling, and then emergency management situations that can always be planned, but that would take precedent in a emergency management setting like a tornado or something. So, any questions?
That was kind of my number one thing, just to get it out probably in public, that if there is an event that it has been scheduled for months or weeks, that a county function that needed to use it would supersede that prior application.
County would take priority. Yeah, to answer you, yes.
It is the same, if you'll remember, Commissioner, when we had the gas line leak at Eustis that caused for the evacuation. At that time, there was an actual, I believe it was the dance that was going on at that time, and we were had to shut them down and take over the facility. And this is just making sure that that is in the policy and known of due to the emergency management operations of that facility.
Correct. And I think you could do that without the being in writing, but it just helps to kind of know that.
That's for emergency situations. The other normal county scheduling stuff should be fixed around it where something's not going to come up all of a sudden. It's not an emergency and we're going to kick somebody out and put it in its place. That we won't do that. It has to be an emergency situation.
It gives priority to county, but I think elections would probably, you would always want to look ahead. If you had a function in there set by a private person and then somebody wanted to have a conference in it and they didn't pre-plan it, then maybe that wouldn't be priority. But it's something for the judge to consider, as the court would be giving the judge's office kind of the scheduling duties. So,
unless y'all would like to put it somewhere else. And it follows the historical, and when I say historical, scheduling has moved around over the last 16 years. And it was started in the judge's office, then went to the fairgrounds, then went to Precinct 3, and as stated in previous meetings, is really not advantageous to the overall use of the facility per the court. And so y'all, I know y'all want to put it back into the judge's office, which the staffing level and with the purchase of the entries that I believe will be issues that we had experienced previously. It will gives more administrative control of the building instead of keys floating around.
I think that was an excellent addition.
It eliminated a lot of concerns.
I did have conversations with Meals on Wheels last week, and looking at a June 1st re-entry into that building, and so that they can begin. I have not spoken with Josh with the IT department about the installation of that access system, but we've had conversations, and the June 1st deadline should not be an issue. And so that truly is the final piece that truly makes the building able to be administered, given the fact that we do not have an employee stationed at the building. So
will it only be on the front door or front door?
Front and back.
Front and back.
Front
so
and back.
We'll be able to access the back without it.
Yes. Any further questions?
I would like to thank Commissioner Richardson and McCown for all the hard work they put on out there this last year or two.
Ask him, he'll say 7. All right. Any further discussion?
I would like to, on here on the address, it has 3344, and that building is actually 3344A, because it and the senior got the same number. One's A and one is B.
What is that?
3344A, Texas 31, Athens, Texas 75752.
That's on line 3 of section 1.
Yes. I don't know if it repeats in there anywhere. I don't think so.
Okay. All right. But that's what the June 1st date is what we're shooting for to open up for all activities. Meals on Wheels has presented their insurance certificate with us, standard ticket. So, or shall I say, standard insurance with us. And we'll get it installed and get it running. It's been a long haul. Anything further, court? Hearing none, can you entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the Henderson County Senior Citizens Building Use Policy.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Tooley, to consider and take action on the Henderson County Senior Citizens Building Use Policy as presented.
The judge's authorization to sign.
No, it's everybody.
No, it's everybody.
Oh,
Last
wrong.
page.
Sorry about that. Wrong page.
Last page.
I was on the agenda.
And that includes that page 6, which is a generic form which would grant the judge authority on that form.
I do have to say one thing. As we are changing the address, can we get one as an amended, approving the amended version since we're adding?
I make the motion to
Yeah.
approve the amended motion.
There you go. You good with that? We're adding an A.
Yes, I am.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner McCam and second by Commissioner Tooley to approve the amended Senior Citizens Building Use Policy as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Court, we will get that adjusted. Since that, we'll go ahead and sign the back page and we'll get it adjusted. Item 4, consider and take action on special road use indemnity agreement with Watkins Construction for County Road 1201, 1205, 1206, 1211, 1300, and 1307, located in Precinct 1. Commissioner Spivey.
Yes, Court, this is for the Atmos line that they're replacing. They have came to court, Atmos came to court with some right-of-way permits already for all these roads and crossings, but they finally got Watkins got the bid for it. So they're coming to me with this road use indemnity to make sure they're letting us know that they're gonna fix anything that they mess up. So it's just an insurance thing. And I have a whole book. They've been great keeping me in the loop, and I'm happy with everything I've gotten so far.
Okay, court, questions? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the special use indemnity agreement with Watkins Constructions for County Roads 1201, 1205, 1206, 1211, 1300, and 1307, with the judge's signature and my signature, located in Precinct 1.
Second. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Spivey and second by Commissioner Richardson to approve the special road use indemnity agreement with Watkins Construction for the aforementioned county roads located in Precinct 1 with all necessary signatures authorized. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Item number 5 is consider and take action on installing 2 cattle guards on County Road 4833 located in Precinct 4. Commissioner.
Yes, Court. This County Road 4833 down in the New York area. Road at one time had 4 cattle guards on it. 2 of them were took out by the previous commissioner and never was brought through court to have them officially removed or anything taken out of the road, and the property owners are asking for them back. And through the Texas Transportation Code 251009, it states that Commissioners Court may construct a cattle guard on a county road of any class and may pay for its construction from the county road and bridge fund if the court finds that the construction of the cattle guard is in the best interest of the resident of the county. Well, like you say, there was 4 on this road, and 2 of them were removed from one property owner's deal there and just covered up because they were dilapidated and not replaced, but don't have a fence around their property. And as y'all know, last year we had an abundance of hay and stuff, and they were really wanting to graze this place instead of cut hay on it. They were unable to with the cattle guards missing, without having to build a whole bunch of fence. So I bring it to court today to get approval on reinstalling these cattle guards in this county road here, as I got listed.
Court questions? The installations meeting policy that was passed.
The new one, I've got prices and stuff on having them put in with the same policy, our new policies. The old cattle guards weren't that way, but the new ones will be installed under our new specifications under our cattle guard policy.
Are you having to do that?
Yeah, we'll do that. That's what we're going to do because they were previous cattle guards. Now, we have had some put in that were not, and the property owner paid for them to put in, but since these had already been there at one time, and we removed them, I offered that if it passed through court, that we would put them back in.
Any further questions? Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion under the Texas Transportation Code 251.009 to install 2 cattle guards on County Road 3.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson and seconded by Commissioner Tooley to approve the installation of 2 cattle guards on County Road 4833 located in Precinct 4 as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Item number 6 is receive financial, and court, what we have today are the financial records for all of the all of the court systems in the county. These are available for viewing after court if anyone wishes from the public to view them. Item 7 is consider and take action on payroll distribution accounts cash sheet, and item 8, which is consider and take action on submitted contracts. And it looks like we have a contract with us today. Mr. Torres?
Good morning.
Morning.
So we have the UniFirst master contract, and it's for facility mats and I believe uniforms for the precincts. This was sent to me by Ms. Sims in Precinct 3.
This is the master agreement, which covers all services that are provided, even though we may not use all services.
Correct.
But it covers us and allows us for access, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Court, questions? Comments?
This is and stuff on the same schedule for renewal on contracts and stuff, I think.
Yes, sir. At the back, it should include all 4 precincts.
I do not.
Are all of us using UniFirst now?
Don't believe so.
No.
I do not see precinct 2.
I can't load all my stuff or all the pages. I thought that we were on UniFirst.
There's 1 and 4, 3, and then we have these other locations.
Well, we'll get there when our contract runs out.
You currently have a contract with
I don't know if I have a contract or I don't know. I'll have to check and see.
It is UniFirst.
I can't remember who I use. Because we
Seemed like
changed.
somebody was on Airmark at one time.
Well, I think we
were.
I think that we were, but the last person we was with when I came on board they didn't treat us right, so we left. And I can find out, but
How long is this contract?
I believe it's 60 months.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, that's what the last one was as well.
It's very lengthy.
We usually don't do it on the contract. maybe something we need to look at on the length of contract.
Okay.
And there was one deal on there I'd like to study on, because there was something on there that if we had a certain fee that we paid or insurance was added in each time we had a garment replaced, they didn't charge us a replacement fee and the patch switching and all that kind of stuff on it. That adds up to a lot. Anytime they have something that has to be replaced, they charge you nearly as much as what you buy a set of jeans or stuff for replacing them. So I don't know if that's something we need to check with them on also, to make sure that that's added in there and what the cost of that is, because ours are running a pretty good deal. Every time somebody, the zipper break out of them, they're not the best jeans in the world. Every time they break out, they'll replace them, and a lot of times you get charged for them instead of, they was telling us that there's a special deal that you can get on there that you didn't have to pay all that stuff. So I don't know if it's worth having that or not.
Is there a more palatable time period of contract that the court, because Mr. Torres will have to have conversations and we'll need some type of direction?
I'd say 3 years.
Got 3 over here.
24 or 3. I mean, there's a lot of them that once they get going and stuff, they want your uniforms and stuff, which our uniforms, a lot of the guys that work in them, and they get dilapidated and they won't replace them and stuff, and they look bad. So we've had to switch companies because of that before, because they wouldn't give us any new uniforms.
Mr. Torres, can you ask for a 2 and 3 year?
2 and 3, yes, sir.
And then if specifics about the insurance for the garments, if there's any other things like that, please email Mr. Torres, letting him know, so he'll have that directly.
Right, yeah, I
Ashley
appreciate
said that she knows all the stuff on that. She's talked to him about it, so I'll get her to get with him.
I would ask them about 2 years with the ability of 1 year extensions.
Okay. Yeah, any...
With a 2 year with 3 1 year extensions if we're satisfied.
Yeah, any concerns? I'll
That would
write
equal
down
out.
to 24 to 36 month, but any additional, if y'all just reach out, send me an email, and that way, whenever I reach out to them, I know what
Find out
what
about
I've included.
Precinct 2, why they're not listed on there. So.
Okay.
I know it's a green and white truck.
Okay. Well,
What's the other company that does our medicine cabinets? Don't they do uniforms too?
Cintas.
Cintas. They're a red, white, blue truck.
I canceled that.
well, we will, there's no action to take at this time on this contract. Okay, so then we'll move on to item number 8, which is consider and take action on request for right-of-way permits. What we got today? Looks like precinct 4. Commissioner?
Yes, Court, Brightspeed of Texas Incorporated is sent me a right-of-way permit. They've already sent this one time, and we approved it for all aerial for Brightspeed fiber optics, and they come in now, and they're wanting to put all this underground. They have a total footage of 15,894 foot of fiber will be placed in a bore, 2-inch bore, HDPE conduit. The 22 new handholds, new buried fiber will be placed in a minimum depth of 60 inches. At road crossings, a minimum of 48 for parallel bores, and a 2-inch clearance from other utilities. This will be on County Road 4201, 4202, and 4307.
Where is that area? Is that
It's,
like Athens?
it runs down beside Sunrise Shores, that little road that goes into Sunrise Shores and then passes the entry to Sunrise Shores. It goes down, and then another one, I think, goes down towards Cape Tranquility and Brown's Landing, and then 4307 is actually the one where the county lands on that we share.
Well, they are moving to some other locations in the other end of the county.
Yes, sir. It appears that way. Court, questions? If not, entertain a motion.
I'd
like to make a motion to approve the right-of-way permit with Brightspeed of Texas for new fiber optic cable on county roads 4201, 4202, and 4307 with the Commissioner's authorization to sign.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner McCam to approve the right-of-way agreement with Brightspeed of Texas Incorporated for the installation of new fiber optic cable along county roads 4201, 4202, and 4307 with the Commissioner's authorization to sign. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Item 10, consider and take action on submitted budget amendments. We have none of those today, so we'll move now to item 11, which is consider and take action on payment of bills. Ms. Carpenter.
Yes, sir. We have fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $632,957.44.
Commissioner Spivey, questions?
I have no questions, Judge.
Commissioner Tooley?
I have none.
Commissioner McCam?
I had none.
Commissioner Richardson?
No questions, Judge.
All right. Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026 bills in the amount of $632,957.44 as presented.
I'll second his motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Richardson, second by Commissioner Spivey to approve the bills in the amount of $632,957.44 as presented. Is there any further discussion?
I would like to say to the sheriff, the water bill is still hanging in there and looking good, looking better, yeah, way better than it ever has. So.
Been a long time. Any further? All those in favor of the motion? Passes unanimously. Item 12, consider and take action on submitted plats.
We have two, one in precinct 1, one in precinct 2, and all fees are paid.
Okay. Commissioner Spivey?
Yes, correct. This purpose of this replat is to divide an existing property into two lots. It's in Forest Acres. All fees are paid, it looks like. And the landowner's here if there's any questions.
Court, questions? Does it, they're splitting two lot, or splitting one lot?
Yes, sir.
Is there community drainage or community sewer at those locations?
Can I get Ms. Kimbrough to speak on it?
So, this is actually a correction, and he will need on-site sewer for this, is that correct? Okay. This is Mr. Rico, landowner, and we've worked on this a long time, and this was actually working with the neighboring property owner to correct this replat.
What are our, go ahead.
Was just moving the line?
Yes, sir. It was a agreement between two property owners that was not previously filed, and this is to correct that.
So we're not taking, it was already two lots, and they're removing a lot line just a little bit, fudging it, but we're not going in there and taking one lot as we speak right now and cutting it in half. It was already, but we're just moving a lot line, fudging it a little bit.
There are two properties, but moving a lot line. He's already built his house over there prior to making this correction, and we're trying to make the correction.
Where's the original lot line compared to where it is now?
They probably made it where you have that 10-foot building line.
So,
Looks like they fixed it where they could have that 10-foot building line
Actually, that's correct. Yes, sir.
on each piece of property.
There it is, right?
Yes, sir, it was a challenge. It was correcting what hadn't been done before. And it was adding what was according to the deed restrictions in each case.
It appears our OSSF officer signed off
Right.
on this.
And that was one of the later challenges, that and getting the neighbor, the original, one of the original owners out there, she was hesitant to let the surveyor go on the property, to make the appropriate notes, and then agreed later to sign off on the paperwork.
So that's what our reason is like one's 5.11 and the other one's 0.497 acres, and it requires 5 by rule for a septic, which the septic's already there because it looks like there's a resident on it, so. But that's why I was wondering why they adjusted lot line and didn't keep it right at that 5 acres. It's an adjustment.
She actually probably still had a little bit of her, a little bit of an encroachment. Like I said, it was a real challenge.
Got too close to that 10-foot
Yes.
building line
Yes.
on a handshake.
So now
Yeah.
she's agreed and the signatures are there. And the property owner, Mr. Rico, is here. He might be able to expand on their agreement a little bit more than we can.
Which lot? So we're the lot 19C is the new lot? That is where, here? I know this is a correction, or it's actually a plat of something that was done by Meets and Bounds.
Yes, sir.
And so,
And the new
Okay.
structure is on the .497.
okay.
And it's built. It's just, it's already there. All of this, like I said, is coming in as a correction.
And there's community water at those locations?
He said yes.
Okay. Court, questions? Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Forest Acres Number 2 final replat of lots 19, Block 3, creating lots 19B and 19C, Block 3, for filing purposes only.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Spivey, second by Commissioner Richardson, to approve the final replat of part of Lot 19, Block 3 in Forest Acres Number 2 into Lot 19B and 19C for filing purposes only. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Passes 4-1. Next one is Precinct 2. Commissioner?
Yes, Court, so this is the Goodell Ranch that we spoke about last week. I believe that the county attorney's office received along with I, received a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to ask the county attorney to come to the mic to speak about this, and the property owner, or the developer is here. This, I guess we can start with, in the new development office, and it's between a Tier 1 and a Tier 2, and where that is.
And good morning, Court. We do have to make well, we don't have to, but you should make a decision today, approving, disapproving, or conditionally approving this application. If you don't, it would be automatically approved. So you don't have to take action, but if you don't, that would be an action. So you probably should take action today, one of those 3 choices. So our current subdivision rules differentiate Tier 2 and Tier 1 plats. A Tier 2 plat is 4 or less tracts, residential only, access to a county-maintained road that is not in the floodplain. So this application is 4 or less tracks, I understand, access to a county-maintained road, and is residential. What makes it Tier 1 is that it's in the floodplain, so it kicks it from Tier 2 to Tier 1. What makes that meaningful is that under Tier 2, as we've discussed, there has to be confirmation of availability of water, a water study, and we've discussed that. When you go to Tier 1, that adds an additional criteria of providing water. And so that's where this court was hesitant to create precedent last time. Granting a variance would allow for basically anyone on the aquifer to say there's plenty of water down there, and you don't have to provide water because there's plenty of water, and we really don't even need a study because that's waived under the statute. So I guess if the court is concerned about that, there is a differentiation generally between a Tier 1 and Tier 2 that would eliminate a lot of that concern as far as providing water. It doesn't eliminate the concern of the water study. That would always be there, whether it's Tier 1 or Tier 2. So there's kind of 2 separate issues, 2 separate rules. But the providing of water, at least, is somewhat eliminated, as that would ordinarily be this would ordinarily be a Tier 2 style track. So probably clear as mud.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Colin, the developer of this property.
Thank you. Good morning, or I guess maybe good afternoon. I have Mr. Wilson here with me. He is a subject matter expert on groundwater availability. I have hard copies of a presentation that I can pass out if you all would like, along with some text on the waiver regs. Got some loose papers.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Michael Wilson. Oh, thank you. I didn't know if you wanted to go through this presentation either on the screen or in the book that you have before you. We can do that very briefly. You've been over this several times. Most of this information is not you. Of course, the second page about the site overview. I can wait until, if you're going to show it on the screen.
We have quad, I believe this, where's the beginning of it?
Even before I go over that, I wanted to, 2 of the handouts you got. One is the local government code. The commissioners may waive the of the groundwater study if it meets the criteria, which is either the tract is subdivided, is over the Carrizo-Wilcox, or the proposed subdivision is less than 10 lots, 10 parts. And then the second page is if you are not waived, but or not exempt, and the TCQ actually uses the word exempt. This is the page on the TCQ website that talks about the groundwater availability certification. And the first paragraph there refers back to the local government code 232.032 parentheses A1 that talks about the waiver, but they actually call it an exemption there. So it's in my opinion, would not be setting a precedence to offer a waiver that qualifies for the only one of the 2, as a matter of fact, because it's an either or over the Wilcox or less than 10 acres, 10 parts. Going through the presentation, if I can indulge your time for that, the site overview gives a brief description of the site. It's less than 14 acres, going to be divided into 3 residential lots, private wells per lot, 1 per lot with aerobic systems, and it's over the Carrizo Wilcox. It also mentions that there are 3 Water Development Board registered wells within 700 feet of the proposed lots, which we will talk about that in a little bit more. Next page just gives a little background of the Carrizo Wilcox aquifer, which most of us are pretty familiar with in this area because it covers 60 counties in East Texas, or not just East Texas, but 60 or more counties. It's a major aquifer and consistently provides large quantity fresh water. The next page shows the macro view of the Carrizo Wilcox, mostly in red, along with several major aquifers in Texas, East Texas, and even South Texas and other parts of Texas. The next page shows a close-up view of the area of the Goodell Ranch, that it's certainly in the the Carrizo Wilcox underlies the property, so it's got a good reliable water source. The next page shows various wells, private wells and public wells in that area that draw water from the Carrizo Wilcox, and the property in question is the Star, and the 3 wells I alluded to earlier are shown close to it. And the next page after that's a little more detail, closer up view. The yellow and the Star is the property in question, with the 3 closest wells less than 700 feet away. And on the right side, it shows the yield of those wells and the depths of those wells, and at between 15 to 45 gallons per minute, certainly more than what is necessary or needed for the intended use, which is a residential lot. The next page just gives a little more detail about the 3 wells in question. Distance from properties, lines, depths, yield again, static water levels below the surface, drilling method. The page after that gives the actual official well records of each of the wells. And then page after that, we go into some of the scientific justification for our confidence in the groundwater. The aquifer thickness there is substantial. The wells that are drilled are only partially within the aquifer. The aquifer is nearly 400 feet deep in that area. Because it's the Carrizo Wilcox, it has confined aquifer dynamics, a regional recharge system. The wells that we tested proximate to it were more than adequate for the intended use. And it has a history of stable static water levels and no evidence of any kind of depletion indicators. And page after that is
Sorry, I gotta
that's
go.
okay. That's okay. It's just, again, reiterating some of the stuff that I've already talked about, which is 400 feet of water-bearing sands under the property in two layers, the middle and the lower Wilcox, and then that page is just a comparison of what our demand is anticipated for this, which is for 3 residences, only about 300 gallons per day. That would be a typical 300 gallons per day, or 900 gallons total for a residence. And that's compared to other water uses that might be in the area. A single agricultural irrigation permit would be 50,000 gallons a day, and a small municipal system would be 250,000 gallons per day. So the anticipated use out of that aquifer is very minimal. And the final page is just a request, respectfully request that the Henderson County approve the groundwater availability certification waiver for Goodell Ranch, which is only 3 residential lots. Appreciate your time.
Court, questions?
So, Mr. Strong, if it does pass, is there a, like, we get a will serve letter from the electric company, usually the water company, and maybe the gas or other things, other utilities. So it passes, and then they go to, say, the NHS deal to get their application to drill that well, and they deny it because of all the stuff that's going on in the aquifer right now. What does that, where does that get us?
They would require a plat note that says that there is water availability. They'd have to put that on there. Is that on there? On the...
Mr. Turber, do you know if that was on that plat?
I don't believe we put that.
Okay. And maybe that's the waiver. Is that the, that might be what the variance is for then?
The variance is for the groundwater, yes, but I don't have a plat note on the actual face of the plat at this time, but we can have that.
This is an interesting question because our rule is stricter than the statute. Our rule requires that plat note. The statute allows that exemption that we haven't adopted. We're stricter than the statute itself.
Well, I mean, nothing can take Henderson County to say that once a lot's sold and they deny him or deny that person a water well, that we're still okay. And I don't know if they deny wells or not.
The statutory waiver is interesting because it's somewhat shifting the responsibility from the developer to the commissioner's court. And so if you follow the statute exemption, you have to be satisfied that you feel confident that there's enough water. So it is kind of putting it on you. I don't... the plat note is what protects you. In the absence of that plat note, I guess there's due diligence from the purchaser. I don't know if there's detrimental reliance because you're not approving the content really, you're just approving the application. There could be a taking if someone argued that they relied on the plat approval and the court using its diligence to make sure there was sufficient water. In reverse, the applicants could also argue that there's a taking for failure to find that. I think it's discretionary, so I don't know how they would do with that. But if they're saying that that statute preempts our stricter regulation, so.
I have a question. So they're trying to do the waiver to not do the feasibility water study. If you're going to go to all this trouble, why not just do the feasibility water study? Is my question. That's what you're asked to do.
Sure. We would like, when we first reached out to the water experts to ask about getting a water study done, they told us immediately off the bat that we are exempt from that under the Texas regs. So we went pencils down on working to get that study done. The study can take up to 6 weeks and cost up to $50,000. So we're statutorily exempt. We, of course, would like to not waste the time and the money to prove what is very clearly true, that there's plenty of water under the property.
My deal would be, if we do this, we're setting a precedence for all these smaller lots to come in and just say there's water there, we're gonna put a well in. But we do have the authority to make them place a bond for infrastructure. Is there any way that we can have them do like a 2-year bond, that the person that buys this land has 2 years to get a well drilled under the bond? And if they don't have water or don't produce water, the well doesn't produce, then it goes back on the developer to find them water, to be able to provide them water.
I believe the court has discretion under the bond chapter for infrastructure.
So if they can get a bond, I don't know what the amount would be for, placed on it. Surely they'll get water, but that gives the purchaser, if they're liable for drilling the well, they've got 2 years to get it drilled to produce water on their place. And if they don't, the bond runs out and then it's on the property owner.
I mean, everything I've read in the presentation says there's water there. Everything about the Crizzo, Wilcox deal, there's water there. It's just, it's that toothpick in a bale of hay that, let's just say it doesn't happen.
But to say like the deal is we're allowing subdivision of land without proven infrastructure. Most of them, we make them run their water lines, they establish the power, they've got roadways to it and all that, and that's our duty to make them have all that infrastructure to the person that they're selling to for these subdivisions of lots. And so, like I say, I know if they want to drill a well, everything else that we do that requires infrastructure on other stuff, we require a bond if they're to make sure that it's going to be provided. Understand we're going through that. Only thing that we got is a bond on what the failure, what's happened on this past one that we got. So.
Could I ask a question, Judge?
Commissioner, do you mind if one of our representatives of the Trinity Natchez Groundwater District joins in?
He's on the board?
He's on the board.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Crossley, identify yourself if you would, Mr. Crossley.
I'm Danny Crossley. I'm one of the board members of the groundwater district that the county's in. I'm curious, have you gentlemen applied for wells in the groundwater district yet?
No, we are happy to, but the court would like to make that a condition.
Are you trying to circumvent that and go through the county and not the groundwater district? Is that what your goal?
No, we're just trying to sell the land in 3 lots. So we purchased 14.6 acres and are looking to sell from that without doing extensive studies or.
Okay. Well, I mean, today you're not required to do extensive studies. That may change, but I'm not real sure I understand what you gentlemen are asking for.
We're just asking for our plat to be approved.
Okay, but you're not asking for a guarantee of water or drilling a well if the water's there. I mean, because there's no one can give you that guarantee. So, okay.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me ask the question.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we have we're wide open, so let's narrow it down. On the condition of this plat, they meet all criteria of plating and having to be a tier 1 plat. And so we're talking about the groundwater and a well. By this, there can be a waiver and a variance with us, correct?
There's 2 different things. Under our rules, I think you can get a variance, which I've sought. Under the statute that they're calling an exemption, I'd caution using their terminology just because it's discretionary. It's with the court, and no one can tell this court what to. Even under the statute, you have discretion And then under our rules, you have the variance also,
So
discretion.
we're talking about our rules.
Correct.
I mean, that's what I want to talk about, our rules.
You all make the decision.
And so they're asking to waive it.
That's correct.
But then if we, I can't think of the word, additions, whatever that is.
Like a conditional approval?
Yes, that they would have to bring us back a certificate from the Natchez Trinity Valley, Wilcox, Carisso deal that they can drill a well there, or that they're going to hit water, We can do it by that.
Like a bond with that?
I mean, that's another area. You know, they're gonna bond it and approve it, and then, or do we say that you need the certificate from, just like we do from an electric company? I mean, from the Natchez groundwater place, are they gonna have can they get a certificate from them saying that, yes, there's water there, and if you drill 200 foot?
You could do a conditional approval, and then I guess if there's no time limit, I don't know if you'd want to revisit it after so long. The conditional approval process is indefinite.
If I might, the involvement of the groundwater district happens at the time of the drilling.
Yeah.
And that, I'm assuming, and feel pretty confident about it, they want to sell the property, and the new landowner will be doing that process. What we are here is talking about sustainable development. Do we believe the information that has been presented to us gives us enough that we feel we could base a decision upon waiving or not waiving?
Using your discretion.
Granting the exemption from our rules. That's kind of where we're at. I mean, I was running the number. Well, is 25,920 gallons by this information. The Smith well, 21,600 gallons per day. And then, of course, Goodale, which was Perry Goodale, he's got a good well he was doing a little irrigating out of. It's 162,000 is what that well is able to produce, per the information that is given here.
Right.
So are we going to grant the exemption? A bond? A bond is an option?
I mean, we got to put something on the developer because once we approve this, the picture, and we want in our subdivision rules to provide water to any lot that's 10 acres and under in our subdivision deal. Now, when they go above 10 acres, they sell by meets and bounds. You're at your own risk on whether you find water or not, or get electricity. You've got several of them that can't get electricity.
Well, I told the developer, and he understands that he wants to be a good developer.
Yeah.
They're kind of new to this, but he also understands that what I said, you sell a lot and you're gone.
Yeah.
And you've left the area unless you come back and do something. So this is it's kind of easy, but it's hard. Plat that we have here.
I think,
and
you know, if you said the water study went up to close to $50,000, that's cost prohibitive on a 3 lot. Now, if you've got 10 lots or more, 100 lots, that's not the cost. You can add that to your lots, but on 3 lots, you can't add that. But I don't think if we required a bond, it'd be cost prohibitive.
It's a development option, is that correct?
Yes, there has to be some kind of legal consideration in that transaction on a bond, so I'd have to know what duty would be on the developer in that bond, because it's a contract.
Would it be I believe what the commissioner is trying to do is that if within the period of 2 years that a property owner drills a well and cannot find water with all the information we have here saying water is available, But if they do not hit water, unable to obtain water, then that bond would be able to,
Pay for community water to come down the road and get them water.
I think that's what you're looking
Yes,
for.
Yes, some way to make water available to them is what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And chances are, and it says in here you can't have shareable well in their deal, but it may be where two of them hit water and one of them don't, which in the Wilcox, when you go down, it's there. It's shallow wells that you hit and miss in the springs and stuff. Most time if you're doing a Wilcox well, and the Wilcox is there, you're gonna hit it. You can just drill it anywhere in the ground. We used to have to get a stick and winch for wells for, 30, 40 foot deep wells is what people used to have. That's what you had to be precise on, whether you were gonna get water or not, so. But our main thing is concerned that in a development that we're responsible for making sure that the people get their infrastructure put in. And to me, that's just telling them, yeah, there's water down there, but you're gonna have to get it. It's not providing them water. So I think there needs to be some kind of insurance that they will be able to get water. Myself, that's the way I look at it.
So there'd be a 2-year bond with the developer. They would have the duty to make sure that all 3 tracks can provide water in that 2-year period?
Then once they produce water, then we can release the bond. If that's capable of doing it.
And what bond amount?
That's what we'd have to decide on right there I don't know, the only way to fix that would be bring community water in, and I don't know where the closest community water is to that, or if y'all even had an estimate done on what community water costs to run down to those lots.
I believe it's between 1.5 miles and 2 miles away, just south of the high school where the baseball diamonds are. So hundreds of thousands of dollars to run that line.
Commissioner?
Does $1 million cover it? Does $1 million bond cover it?
Well, did you get a estimate or from somebody? Do you have something in writing that shows the amount?
From the city? I do not. I called them when we first started to pursue water for the project, and that seemed cost prohibitive. Given that there's ample water there, we decided that wells would be the answer, the clear answer. In hindsight, I wish we would have just drilled them right when we bought the property, which I think there wouldn't have been any approval, maybe a permit, but maybe not. So my apologies for raising this issue to the court when I should have just went out there and drilled some wells. Maybe another alternative would be conditional approval that I drill water wells, like usable wells, not test wells. Test wells are not usable. I'd be happy to fund the drilling of one water well as a condition to the approval. The reason I wouldn't want to drill all 3 is in case one buyer buys all 3 lots, which is actually something that's a discussion that's already taking place right now. One buyer is interested in all 3 lots.
Again, what's before us, are we going to grant the approval with?
Approve with variance, disapprove, or conditionally approve. The $1 million bond, unlike like a certificate of insurance or umbrella, the bond has to be based on the engineering at 120%. So we couldn't just set it arbitrarily at $1 million unless that was the actual cost amount. So it's something that we actually have to know the numbers.
If they was to change it to drill one well on there and then make it where if 3 people did buy individual lots on there, could it be a shareable well?
Like a community well? If that's how they did it. I think there's different types. So
For only those 3 property owners, if they divided up. That way, if we drilled one well, then you see what we're getting on here is we're setting a precedence if we do this, and then it's not that there's not water there, but it's gonna be when one of those comes in and does the same thing that we're doing, where somebody's not gonna get water in the future, and then they're gonna rely back on us why we didn't get a bond or guarantee that there was water there, so.
I'm thinking about the responsibility on the bond. If they sold it to one property owner that bought all 3 tracts and then that person further sold them to third parties, that's where the bond stuff's gonna get complicated.
Court, we're almost at noon. What's our pleasure?
I'm feeling as far as the bond. And we go with one, and what happens with the other 2 lots? And we need to, I would think that we need to be specific in case they decide to do, say, a community well, that we put that on lot 2. That we tell them can we tell them to drill on lot 2?
In the bond, you can put conditions in the bond. It's like a contract. But if you're not specific enough, you can get trapped. But if you're overly specific, you can get trapped in a contract. So really, you always want to, they have to be thoughtful. It's hard to predict on the spot how this may turn out without engineering or proposals. So we're kind of guessing, but that is an idea.
So if a motion's made to approve the plat on the conditions of a bond, you gotta know how much that bond's gonna be worth. And we can tell them where to put it at.
I need to know the terms, and they would have to.
I just gave you the terms. Those are the 3 things. A bond, the price of the bond, and a lot.
The max price is 120, 120%. Under our rules, is that what you would want, 120%?
If that's what the rules are.
I think it's up to.
That's up to?
And then it's up to 24 months.
You mentioned that you may have one buyer going to buy this. Is he thinking about, does he want it divided into 3 tracts when he buys it? Does he want to future develop it?
I don't think so.
Because if you got one buyer that wants to buy it, that amount of land can be done by meets and bounds. You don't even have to have a plat on it.
Yeah, they didn't want to buy it until this has taken longer. Now we'll about the whole thing. Another comment is they haven't told me for sure that they need one.
Yeah.
They might not need one. So this could all be a long discussion about water that never gets drilled. But I'm very flexible, and I'm happy to, make accommodations, make a deal. If you guys would like me to commit to drill a well, I think that's a pretty easy answer. I will drill a well in 1 year to provide water to not set a precedent. We will just grant this exemption to anyone who comes in and asks for it. I think that would perhaps set a good precedent that you're going to make the developer, approve or at least provide some water for
So the terms of the bond, do you want 1, 2, or 3 wells? And how long do you want to give the wells time to be done, and what type of well?
I would offer the suggestion, Court, that we deny this today and allow them time to be able to pull it together and resubmit to the court. That would probably be something that would be more thorough, more direct, allow for deliberation ahead of time would be my suggestion.
We have to make a decision. If it's disapproved, we can meet with them and then hash out a bond.
Is there any further discussion on this item? If not, entertain a motion.
I move we deny the variance request for Goodell Ranch.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley and second by Commissioner Richardson to deny the subdivision and the variance request as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Item 13 is opening, pardon?
Tell them that there'll be a letter sent to them with the deficiencies and stuff.
We'll be visiting with them next week and bring it back to court.
Item 13, open and consider bids. Mr. Torres.
So I have the bid packet for fiscal year 2026 road materials bid. You guys should have a list of all the vendors who I currently have email contacts for, who will get a notification of this bid. The advertisement dates that I have is first advertisement this Saturday, May 16th. Second advertisement next Saturday, May 23rd. The deadline and opening of the bid is Tuesday, June 2nd, and we'll bring back to court Tuesday, June 9th. And I don't believe there's any blocks with any holidays or anything for those dates.
Court questions?
A lot of these bids you send out by email doing this stuff, is there any way that we can get a confirmation back? If they
I
received
asked,
it?
yes, sir, I asked for one, but it's up to them to actually reply. It's about 50-50 on whether or not they reply, but I do ask in my email for a confirmation and a reply that they received it. And if I don't get, at least a 50%, I resend until, but really I don't believe there's anything in our email that shows me that I can see whether or not they've opened the message, kind of like you do on text messages. I haven't talked to IT, but I don't believe that is currently anything that we are set up for. But I do ask for the confirmation.
I didn't know if there's something they put in there where they do a response to that just say we're not bidding, so we know.
Yes, sir. And I have gotten responses where they say that they're not interested or they just are thankful for the opportunity. But it's, like I said, it's up to them whether or not they want to take the time to respond.
I know we have come to court before and then have it on there, and then some of them say, oh, we didn't get it, or there's spam mail, or I missed it and stuff.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I usually do weekly emails, or I try to, especially towards the deadline. I do a reminder that it's due in a couple weeks, and then I do a week of. But I know we're shying away from mail. There is one vendor that he does not do email, and I just realized he's not on there. It's Eustace Dirt, I believe.
It's what?
Eustace Pit, the dirt pit.
Oh, okay.
And he does receive it, or I send it out by mail, but knowing if the Postal Service delivers it or not. So that's why we're trying to shy away from there. It's easier for me to find out if they've received it through email.
So if somebody doesn't do email, they can contact your office and
or
come down here and get a
Yes, sir. They can contact our office, and any questions do have to be by email. But if they just need the packet or to find the packet, I'm more than happy to help them get it. It's on our website.
Okay.
The question that I have is that this, the materials in this list, at one time we had them bring to different bids. We are putting together road materials, be it rock, be it pea gravel, be it oil based.
Yes, sir. That's all together. I know last year there was a few that we didn't receive responses for that we needed, so we did a secondary bid for just those items. But for the most part, they should be together.
Be interested this year, oil prices.
Yes. Court, further questions concerning the solicitation for bids? If there are none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam and second by Commissioner Richardson to approve the solicitation for the 2026 RFP road material solicitation as presented. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? It passes unanimously. Thank you, sir. Item 14, consider and take action to adjourn.
So moved. I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley and second by Commissioner McCam to adjourn at 12:02. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Passes unanimously. We do stand adjourned. Thank you.